Welcome to the first recorded event of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. And I guess I'm the host, and I'm Nick, and I'll be the host. And always with me, Anthony, the Rook, and TJ Hammered. What's going on,
Yeah,
fellas?
what's going on, Nick? How you been,
Nick
man?
and beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another day in paradise, right?
No, just another day, another $50. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So what's on the agenda for today,
We
Anthony?
I think we got a couple of good things to go through here. It's busy week of sports. Obviously we're gonna go into last week with the NFL draft. We have NHL, big news there. The Rangers, MLB, NBA stuff. Obviously, we're all New York area guys. Trying to want to speak about New York stuff, sports, and then also try to dive into other, teams, leagues, and the big news and what's happening in sports.
Absolutely. And definitely always a laugh to throw in there. Something comical. Got to laugh about a lot of this stuff. It's so ridiculous. So
Yeah,
what's first on the agenda today? Actually, before we get into the good stuff, I just wanted to do a quick shout out. I don't know if you guys heard that Jake Ellinger from Texas, the brother of Sam Ellinger who just got drafted by the Colts. He unfortunately he just was found passed away. Jake was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so definitely thoughts and prayers to their family. That's absolutely miserable. Their dad passed away from a heart attack back in 2013, and just last week they're celebrating Sam getting drafted, and then today they find Jake dead by the campus. So
really,
thoughts and prayers to their family. Yeah, in Texas,
Absolutely.
outside UT. So thoughts and prayers to their family. It's miserable.
Yeah, definitely. Thoughts and prayers.
That's very unfortunate. But I wanted to just say that for their family, it's a very unfortunate situation for them.
Yeah, I can't imagine a kid that young too. That's scary.
Bright future ahead of him too. He's playing D1 football at Texas. It's good stuff. It's very unfortunate. And thoughts and prayers with Sam and his family. And hopefully, he knows that the sporting world is behind him. And the sporting world definitely has his six on this one because it's a very unfortunate situation, especially after such a happy one last week. It's what a 180 for his family. It's miserable.
Yeah. We'll go from there to try to dive back into the NFL draft here.
We can get into. Well, Sam was drafted, so let's talk.
He was drafted. The Colts do need a quarterback, so I think it's actually a pretty good landing spot for him.
Do they though? Because I think Carson Wentz would beg to differ about the Colts needing a quarterback.
I disagree with him. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, to be honest with you. I think he's gonna look over his shoulder the whole time, to be honest with you. I remember seeing when we watch him in Philadelphia, being Giant fans, watch him twice a year, and he is a turnover machine. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
When you have the crowd chanting for Nick Foles to come in.
Yeah.
Nick Foles won that Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Jeez.
Obviously there was no receivers in Philadelphia. Maybe he'll have a lot more help here in Indianapolis. But I think that job's open.
We'll see. We'll see if the kid can push him or if the kid's got some fire in his belly. I don't know when. Does anybody know when they start their draft guys coming in? Their rookie workouts?
No, I don't know that.
Jets and Giants do theirs this weekend, right? Or the Jets do theirs this weekend. The Giants do next weekend.
Or vice versa.
No, the Jets are definitely doing theirs this weekend.
Yeah.
They're doing theirs first. And then the spring camp or summer camp, well, not the voluntary meetings, the voluntary training, that starts the Jets are the week after the Giants. But the rookie training camps is Jets first and the Giants the following week.
Yeah. Well, I'd say speaking of the Jets, Nick, a little more about the Jets than – well, I guess TJ does too, but
oh yeah, definitely. We are unfortunate souls.
Yeah. What do you guys feel about your draft? You got your boy Zach Wilson coming in.
Listen, we didn't draft Zach Wilson. We drafted his mom.
That's a fact. Have you seen Stifler's mom? Holy cow! Holy cow! And I think to myself, what was I doing 20-something years ago that I wasn't in Utah finding her?
She looks like Allie from Karate Kid.
She does. She absolutely does.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Shue.
So weird.
Right?
So weird. Cocktail too.
Yeah. It's a throwback.
Cocktail, yeah. But no, I think Zach Wilson, I worry about he's got a small frame. I don't think, a lot of people keep bringing up the competition that he had in college with BYU not being a part of one of the major conferences in college football. And I just kind of feel like that's not a big deal. Like, why isn't that conversation being brought about? Trey Lance played for North Dakota State, because I would say that BYU is a bigger school, not to insult North Dakota State or Trey Lance or any of those guys, but I would say that BYU is a bigger school than North Dakota State. Like, I know Steve Young went to BYU. Can either of you name somebody that went to North Dakota State? I think there's like one guy in the NFL right now that went to North Dakota State.
Carson Wentz.
Did he really? Oh, yes. God. All right, there it is. So I think there's a linebacker that went there too, actually.
Yeah, but, I don't trust Wentz either. So,
but my point is that you don't get to choose who you play against, and people will bring up his stats against big schools, schools that had 10 wins or whatever the case is, or top 10 schools. So, this school was a top 10 school. He played miserably against them. When you look at his numbers, he really didn't play miserably. He didn't play as good as he did against the other competition. But you also have to keep in mind that, BYU is not a big school. They don't play against big schools. That's correct. They also don't get big name prospects. So, number 2 pick overall, Zach Wilson's throwing to who? Is he throwing to the same receivers that Trevor Lawrence is throwing to? Is he throwing to the same receivers that Mac Jones is throwing to? So,
and you could even argue, sorry to cut you off there, but you can argue the offensive line. I mean, offensive line is always key for a young quarterback, and Mac Jones was behind tanks in Alabama and had incredible wide receivers. So the talent around Mac Jones is so much better. You never know how Zach Wilson or even Trey Lance could have played in a system like Alabama, especially with the talent.
I don't want to downplay, the bigger conferences and stuff, but I think people put way too much weight in any conference in college, considering it's a huge jump to the NFL. It's completely different systems. You can't get away with the stuff you get away with in college. Your receivers don't have the separation that they have in college. I mean, you could have a first-round draft pick going in this year, but he was your wide receiver, and you can hit him all day long. You're not getting that separation in the NFL. I mean, it's how many first top-tier, top 5 quarterback draft picks in the past 15 years are still starting? I mean, it's listen, college. I'm not trying to downplay college football. College football is, I mean, they're the best in their age group, and you got to give it to them. But once you step up to the big leagues with the big boys, it's do or die. I mean.
Yeah, so I just
Sam Darnold.
And you know what?
Yeah,
I'll say
Sam
this.
Darnold.
I'm not a Sam Darnold apologist, because a lot of people they'll ask that question: should the Jets have kept Sam Darnold? And I'll tell you unequivocally, no. And simply because it's just going to cost too much money to still not know what you're going to get.
Correct.
At least with Wilson, you don't know what you're getting, but at the same time, it's cheap. So, Sam Darnold very well could become a stud in Carolina, and God bless him if he does. As a Jet fan,
Absolutely.
I hope he doesn't, because we got their pick for 2nd round next year. But that's neither here nor there. But to say unequivocally that he's going to do better than Zach Wilson for $10 million more a year, I can't say that. And is that a risk you're willing to take? Because I'm not. I mean, I've seen flashes. Don't get me wrong, but to start over with a new regime. You can, it would have been bad if Sam Darnold would have came back into town. The first game that he threw 2 incompletions back to back, they would have wanted his head. And I think Mark Sanchez said that. They're like, he's not going to survive. He'll be in summer camp, and he'll throw an incomplete pass, and they'll tear him to shreds just because. Like, why not?
He knows some experience.
Absolutely.
I mean, those USC quarterbacks, though, they have that, except for Carson Palmer.
I'll say this, everybody always brings that up, like, oh, USC quarterbacks suck. Fucking Ohio State quarterbacks suck. Name me the last Ohio State quarterback that was anything. Here's my problem. Name me the school that's pumping out quarterbacks every year. And people go, oh, Clemson. 2 fucking guys in how long?
Yeah.
2 guys. How long's Clemson University been in existence? 2 guys.
Forever.
You know what I mean? So everybody wants to talk about, don't trust the guy. Justin Fields. Don't talk about him. He went to Ohio State. He's gonna suck. When was the last time they had a good quarterback? When was the last time any school had a good quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton Manning went to Tennessee. When was the last time Tennessee had a good anything?
Yeah. Well, it's a good segue there from speaking of Clemson, because obviously the big name here taking a number 1 of the draft was with my Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, the long-haired sunshine, going to the Sunshine State here.
Sunshine.
What do you got? What do you guys? I mean, obviously it was unanimous number one. Where else were they going to go? And this is one of the things I want to bring up, which was very funny, was the video of Urban Meyer waiting to put in the draft pick. And he's like, the NFL told us we have to wait till at least 2 minutes to go.
Oh my God.
While we're all sitting there like 15 minutes waiting for this to come on. And then finally it comes in like, we all know where you're going. It's the drama they tried to build and it just does not happen.
It would have been better if they would have went straight to a video of him just flipping a coin and like looking around. Who was taking?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been better.
Play a game, NFL.
So what do you guys think the expectation for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville is actually going to be? And what do you think it's tough to say always, but what do you got? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think they got to give him time. That he's obviously going to be reps right out the gate, starting game one. You know he's going to be in there. Give him time. I mean, he's quality. You can't deny the kid's quality. But it's like anything else. He's got to learn it. He's got to walk in, and the fans got to have reasonable expectations. I mean, but that's the one thing I think that we always fail as Jet fans. We get a new quarterback, and we're immediately disappointed because we don't get those winning seasons. And I mean, at a certain point, you get fed up and frustrated. But I think Jacksonville's in a good spot, and I think he's going to do great for that team if they just build him up the right way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think drafting his running back was actually pretty interesting in the first round.
Absolutely.
I always think it's a little weird though, drafting a running back in the first round when you have James Robinson, who was like all rookie running back basically. I mean, he got an incredible first year. I mean, you never know running backs, they get hurt all the time, but I mean, Etienne he was awesome in college and stuff. So
who's the running back they had before that he came out at the same time as
Fournette,
and he was great that first year.
He won a Super Bowl this year,
and his team won the Super Bowl. He was there.
No, but he had a really good playoff run, though. I will give him that.
Listen, a lot of people have a lot of good playoff runs. That doesn't make them Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the same deal. Like, you know, not to go back to Wilson when they say that he didn't win against top 10 teams. His team lost. He didn't lose by himself. His team lost. His team didn't perform against top 10 teams. And I don't expect a team like BYU to perform against top 10 teams. I do expect a team like Trevor Lawrence to perform against top 10 teams, right? Because it's not Clemson. It's the Trevor Lawrence Tigers, okay? Because when he wasn't there, they lost. He got COVID last year. They lost. They were undefeated. He was out for 2 games with COVID. I'm pretty sure they lost both. I think they lost both. And maybe we'll double check that later, but I
think they lost. I don't know if they lost 2. Oh, they might have because were they in the playoffs last year?
They were in the playoffs. They lost to Ohio State.
Oh, right.
They lost to Ohio State. And that's another thing is I do expect Trevor Lawrence to beat Ohio State. Why not? Yeah. I mean, Clemson's stacked. They're absolutely stacked. As far as his expectations down in Jacksonville go, honestly, I don't think they're high. And I'll say that I'll say the same reason.
I don't think so either.
And I'll say why. Jacksonville's a no-place town. I'm not trying to insult anybody from Jacksonville. I'm just saying is if he would have went to New York, win, lose, draw, blood, one way or another. You know, it's like when the Jets had the number 1 pick. The narrative was, will Trevor Lawrence stay in college to avoid the Jets because they're such a dysfunctional organization? The last time I checked, the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't holding up trophies every single year, holding up the Lamar Hunt every year, holding up Super Bowls they're not. So if the Jets are a train wreck, if the Jets are a train wreck, then the Jacksonville Jaguars, at a minimum, are a 7-car pileup.
Well, when you think about it, too, the Jacksonville Jaguars probably drafted just as many quarterbacks in the first round recently. Well, maybe first round, but because they had Blaine Gabbert.
Definitely top 4.
Blake Bortles.
Top
now
4
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And then they did draft Gardner Minshew, who was an incredible talent.
He's got a
sweet mullet. Sweet mustache.
God, he looks like he's about to.
Anybody that does a video with Uncle Rico going into the season, I mean.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I want to see him dye his hair blonde and come back looking like Tiger King because he's about this close. He's about this close to being Joe Exotic.
He's pretty close. So moving from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Gardner Exotic. I think the Giants should pick that guy up. Pick up Gardner Minshew.
Hey, that would be awesome.
I'm not a big
But
fan of Danny Jones.
I'm
Jones?
not either.
Daniel Jones?
Not a fan of Danny Jones. This last year, this is it. I think if he does not make a next step at NFL level, then I think he's done. They put so much talent around them between. They drafted Kadarius Toney, who's also known as Young Joker, with his rap side game. They brought in Kenny Galladay. Saquon's back. The offensive line's a little better. But speaking of the Giants draft, which I do not get, is everyone was complaining the offensive line. They did not address the offensive line with the draft. And I think it's just negligent at that point, especially for Saquon. I mean, I would feel bad him getting hurt again. Well, because the offensive line's terrible, but
your quarterback has a bad case of the fumbles. How do you not beef up your line? Mm-hmm. He's got a bad case of the fumbles. I mean, I think he fumbles more than he throws interceptions.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And that's a big problem because now you're not even getting to the point where you're actually throwing the ball because you're getting hit so fast that you're not even throwing away. You're giving it away. Literally, like, here you go. I'm just going to put it here, pick it up when you want.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge compliment. I think they should have gotten the offensive line help. But I don't know. Dave Gettleman is, I don't know what he is, but the first time ever he actually drafted back or he traded back, which is insane to think that he's been a GM for the Panthers and the Giants for quite some time, and he's never once traded back. I mean, they got lucky, though, because they traded the pick to the Bears, and they got the first-round pick because the Bears got Fields.
Right.
So, but I don't think the Giants, I'm a little happy with their draft, I guess, but I just don't understand how you just ignore the offensive line, which is one of your main issues. I think, football games, I mean, people hit us all the time. They're one of the trenches. You need the D-line, you need the offensive line. Those guys are unsung heroes of championship teams. And the Giants were just like,
right. Well,
forget it. We don't need it.
When the defensive line could get Super Bowl MVP, they gave it to Eli Manning. I mean, that's a normal thing.
Yeah, you got to get to a quarterback and you got to protect him. Those are the two important things of a football team. But moving on, I think, anyone else about the draft? Any other points or no?
I think the Jets filled a lot of holes. I think they drafted well this year. And I mean, coming from a Jet fan and a lot of disappointing drafts, and I can't sit there and pick apart anything they did during the draft. I liked it. A lot of their moves. I think we're building from the ground up. We're gonna make moves. I mean, we have a lot of money to use on any free agents that may come around in the next few years. Compared to a young team, we're gonna figure it out. I mean, I don't think we're going for the playoffs this year. But I like the fact that with a young team, anything goes. I mean, look at a couple of years ago with the Yankees. They weren't supposed to win, 87 games?
Mm.
So I think when you have young talent, you get surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll say this for the Jets draft. And I feel like, T, you already hit the nail on the head when you said that, we expect, guys to come out on day one. We have unrealistic expectations as Jets fans. I see every beat writer in New York City going, the Jets didn't draft a cornerback till the 6th round or whatever ridiculousness they were spouting out of their stupid mouths. Does anybody sit here and think that the Jets are making the playoffs this year?
No, absolutely not.
Does anybody not realize that the Jets have 3 draft picks? Four draft picks in the first 2 rounds and 6 in the first 3 rounds?
Yes.
They can't find a cornerback in that market at all.
Right.
Like this team is more than just a cornerback away from making a playoff appearance, let alone winning a Super Bowl. So the whole idea that everybody keeps, they didn't get a cornerback. They could have used another offensive lineman. There is a draft next year. I don't know if people got the memo. The most important thing the Jets could have done in this draft was protect Zach Wilson and put things around him so that he doesn't lose whatever confidence he has, whatever little swagger the kid comes out with, as a young cat coming out of college, whatever little, walking around with a big jock because he's a big man on campus in bumfuck Utah, coming to New York, we could crush him. We could absolutely have a bad year in New York. Like, I don't think people understand how ridiculously tough New York is. I mean, look at the Astros coming in today, and they're asking the MLB to.
We'll get to that.
To us, don't New York will crush you. Honestly, I think somebody like Daniel Jones is really lucked out that people haven't talked about him. The Giants have flown under the radar for the last 3 years that the Jets have been crashing and burning with Adam Gase. I don't even want to say his name. If I see him in the street, I'm going to crack his skull to the white meat. I hate Adam Gase. The only person I hate more than Adam Gase is Peyton Manning. That's that. And the only reason I hate Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning because he called up the Jets and vouched for that piece of shit Adam Gase, okay? I wouldn't trust Adam Gase to coach a powder puff high school game, okay? I would not trust Adam Gase to walk my dog, rest her soul, all right? Fuck Adam Gase, okay? Because of him, he ruined a number 1 draft pick, or a first rounder, right?
Yeah, Darnold.
Drove away our linebacker who wished he was a safety. Okay, and I no love
Yes,
there. I'm not upset about him being gone. He can go miss coverages on the West Coast where he doesn't matter. Because let's be fair, the West Coast really doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't.
The West Coast in sports.
Nobody does. and they're on too late. I'm sorry, nobody's staying up that late.
Well, football's a little different, but I mean, look at Mike Trout. He falls into obscurity because he plays.
We'll get to Mike Trout too.
We will get to him.
But Adam Gase, but Peyton Manning personally recommended fucking Adam Gase and Daniel Jones.
Listen, Peyton Manning personally recommends Papa John's pizza, or did. Okay, and that is instant. That is diarrhea in a box. So right there. That's what Adam Gase was. He was diarrhea in a box with crazy eyes.
I will say this though: when the New York Giants are bad and the New York Jets are also bad, the story is always the New York Jets. Oh. The New York Giants are just like that organization to trust on their radar. It's not like a circus around them. The New York Jets are bad. Everyone knows about it, and it always protects the Giants because Daniel Jones is not that much better than Sam Darnold, I don't think. And Daniel Jones is still here, and Sam Darnold's already out of town.
Well, it's the fact that you guys had a couple Super Bowls, and I mean, you could justify those. What is it? The PSL seat pricing. I mean, as Jet fans, let me give you $5,000 so you can hold on to my seat. I don't want that seat.
No,
take that seat. I'll sit in my car and drink in the parking lot like a gentleman.
But I will say, I think there's 3 more points we have about the draft or about NFL, and then we'll move on from here. But one is Aaron Rodgers wanted to get out of town of Green Bay. Middle of the draft, like right before the draft, just casual little breaking news. Aaron Rodgers wants out. I think everyone was like on New York radio, of course. The Jets have to trade for him.
Ridiculous.
I'm happy the Jets didn't because they already made that mistake before with Favre.
Yeah,
it's an agent superstar. Why would you do it for Zach Wilson? I think
the guy wants to host Jeopardy. He wants to be the next Jeopardy. His aspirations is to be Alex Trebek. God rest his soul. I love Alex Trebek. The guy was Canadian though. He stayed in his lane. He had the awesome mustache. He wasn't trying to throw the football into the end zone. Okay, this guy wants to be all over. He's dating the actress or engaged to the actress. He's all over the place. I think he's thinking that he's bigger than he is. And I'm not going to say anything bad about Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, but when you act like that and you start throwing it around to the media, knowing where it's going everywhere. I mean, he's essentially just calling up John Elway with everybody on speakerphone in the newsroom saying like, I'm not happy here. We get it, dude. We get it. But last year wasn't your team's fault. You were part of that team. You can't be bigger than your team. I mean, he's a stud quarterback, but acting like that in a room full of 350-pound men that could rip your face off with ease, not a good look. And then you're going to go to a different team, and you want those guys to trust you and protect you. That's not sports. I mean, where's the camaraderie? Where's the getting each other six? I mean,
where's the leadership?
Sit there. Yeah, you're supposed to sit there and spill blood with each other. And I mean, he essentially just said, yeah, last year wasn't my fault. It's all your fault. I want out.
But can you really trust a guy who is estranged from his entire family?
That's questionable. I mean,
my thing is obvious. There's got to be more there, but everyone in your family doesn't like you. I'll say this. You're a millionaire quarterback. Somebody has to like you.
Listen.
He may not be the problem.
At Christmas, they went 3 Jeopardy jokes too far, and that was it. Cut out.
So I have friends that live in Wisconsin, big Packers fans, season ticket holders, and I talked to my buddy Crash out in Wisconsin. Shout out to Crash. What's going on, Rob? And I asked him, I was like, so what's going on? You having a meltdown? Don't cry. I'll cry for you. Don't cry. And he was like, I don't give a shit. Fuck that guy. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the comment that he made. But I was surprised. He's like, we're so tired of him. And and he's a diehard. He really is. So,
listen, the fans are that team. The fans own the team. They are the team.
Literally.
So, I mean, you disrespect the team, you disrespect the fans.
So my friend Rob goes, I've been over him for years. Like anyone cares, he's unhappy. Fuck that dude.
And share from an owner, I bet.
He's a season ticket holder. I mean,
I was gonna say he probably has a share up in his on his wall that he owns the team. So he's the owner.
You think your boy Crash is happy when he's sitting there in 3 feet of snow? I mean, come on. Who cares if Aaron Rodgers isn't unhappy?
Listen. My buddy's called Crash because he's crashed so many cars that's what his family calls him now. When you crash a car into somebody's living room, you're Crash. So here's my friend Crash and the Green Bay Packers, and they're a classy organization too.
Let's hope he stays safe and doesn't crash any more cars.
Oh no, we're too old for that. We're too old for that.
Yeah. Next thing was the Devontae Smith Eagles Cowboys trade for Eagles to get Devontae Smith.
What a move for the Eagles!
Was that just a fuck you to the Giants?
Yeah, 100%. Why would
listen? Absolutely. Listen, Dallas lost out on who they were looking at in cornerback, and they just said, "Yeah, whatever, take it."
And they were like, "Oh well, the New York Giants won't have him, so what do we care?"
That's all that was. That was just a fuck you.
Well, the crazy thing about Devontae Smith was that we were watching the draft together. Well, not watching it, but texted virtually, I guess. And I had said that Devontae Smith's going to be next to Deshaun Jackson. He's going to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And you're like, nah, the Cowboys aren't going to take him. It's going to go to the Giants. And I'm like, he's going to end up on the Eagles. And what happened? The trade comes through, and you're like, holy crap.
You did that like 3 times.
Yeah, I did do it. I did. I said Etienne was going to go to the Jaguars.
You said that.
And then
the Eagles said that they were prepared to try to trade even higher and give away even more because that was their guy. They were set on.
Well, they needed a receiver. I mean, who are their receivers? Can you name one of them?
No.
I can name one, but I can't pronounce his name correctly. Arcega Whiteside. He has like that Spanish C or it has like a TH sound to it.
That's not Spanish, that's French, bro.
No, is that Spain?
It's a C with a thing. It's a C with a thing?
No, it's like because they pronounce Barcelona as Barcelona.
Oh, the list? I thought you were talking about like Pierre Garçon with the C with the little thing. That's French.
No, like the little like lisp that they have when they say those things.
The Castilian. It's Castilian.
Yeah, and then like I think Ertz is a free agent, isn't he? I think he's gone. I mean, he was a tight end, but I mean,
right?
Yeah,
I think he was free to leave. And then who are the other wide receivers?
Hey, listen, if they're looking for a tight end, Tim Tebow's out there.
Yeah, and then that's our last topic. So good segue.
Let me talk about how much I hate Tim Tebow.
Wait,
this is my hot take.
Before you get into it, though, Tebow mania is back in Jacksonville, and I'm happy. I'm here for it. I'm the opposite of you. Let's go. Tim Tebow, maybe 35 years old. He's got to be 35 now.
I think he's 33, actually.
Oh, he's our age then.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be 34.
So he's actually old. He's very young. We are gonna be 34. Yeah. So he's very young. He's not that old.
No, he's gonna be 34. So he is 33. He'll be 34. But let me tell you, this is my hot take, and people are gonna hate me for it. Fuck Tim Tebow. I hate Tim Tebow. All right. Let me tell you why I hate Tim Tebow. All right. It's real simple. Tim Tebow, as much as everybody sits here and says that he's such a nice guy and Tim Tebow's so great, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Tim Tebow's an asshole. He's a selfish piece of shit. All right. Let me explain to you that there's some kid from the Dominican Republic that he took like $100,000 a year pay cut because he was stuck in AA because Tim Tebow had to be in AAA because he got people to show up to those games. Okay. And I'm not sitting here saying that because there's always that stupid fan that goes, if he was so good, then Tim Tebow couldn't take his spot. You could be fucking borderline, okay? And all you need is an opportunity. Maybe you need the opportunity to work with the better coach at the next echelon of training. And he unlocked something, right? Who knew who Luke Voigt was before he came to the Yankees? Right? He was just some bum on the Cardinals, gets to the Yankees, works with Marcus Timms, works with the Yankees hitting coaches and other people that are in the organization, gets to a different gym for all I know. I don't know what the fuck the Yankees got going on different than the Cardinals. But Tim Tebow took that opportunity away from some kid that actually plays baseball for a living. He didn't just pick it up on a whim because he wanted to stay famous. Tim Tebow's still making $150,000 a year working for fucking SEC Network. He doesn't need to do sports anymore. but he's using his fame and his popularity to take opportunities away from people that actually do need to do this shit. And honestly, as much as he wants to be a sit there and kneel and say his prayers and eat his vegetables, he's still a piece of shit for being a selfish piece of shit. All right,
you're running down possibly one of the nicest guys
Fuck
in
yeah.
the NFL or the
The guy
world
does-
because of a hypothetical kid from Dominican Republic.
Being nice doesn't help anybody win. That guy was never going to play Major League Baseball, and he stole an opportunity from somebody that might.
Dude, he went to the minor leagues for the Mets. He had an opportunity. I mean, come on. The guy serving beer has an opportunity to go to the Mets.
Sure, he was in AAA.
Dude, you would put it past them? You would put it past the Wilpons?
Listen,
I mean,
but they didn't.
Yeah, at the
But they
time,
didn't.
yeah.
They could have.
amazingly, I thought that'd be Tim Tebow night. Everybody
did,
taking a knee in the stands.
in
Yeah.
spring training because
Everyone
nobody
wears,
wanted to
everyone
see
wears 15 that
nobody wanted to see
night.
the Mets in spring training, so they saw Tim Tebow.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think Tim Tebow's a great guy.
I agree.
He does a lot of charity, does a lot of good things for people. He prays a lot. He's probably going to pray for you when he hears this, if he ever hears this.
Yeah, whatever.
He'll be like, I pray for that man.
Listen, the good son situation, Nick. You got Tim Tebow hanging off the cliff on one arm and Adam Gase hanging off the other arm. Who are you saving?
Oh,
I'm kind of
man.
fucked my organization up. So I'm saving Tebow.
There you go.
Wait, hold on. Can I undo what they've done?
No.
No, that's not part of it.
I
You have to save Tim Tebow because he does good for the world.
that's like asking, do you love your son or your wife more? Like, it's just,
It's not even
All right,
close.
let's move this along. Let's move it along. Here is Tom. I'm just gonna let you guys talk about this one because this is Tom Wilson
oh.
as Ranger.
Wait, hold
fans.
on. Here's where we bring in the douche of the week segment. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the douche of the week, Tom
Oh, yeah.
fucking Wilson of the friggin' Washington Capitals. All right, T, go ahead, unload on this guy. Fuck that guy.
Listen, I mean, the Rangers are at a loss because they don't have the tough guy on the team. And given the NHL has gotten away from the tough guy role, but you still have teams that have the tough guy. I mean, you have an aging Chara on the Capitals who will still go to toe-to-toe with anybody in the league and come out on top, no problem. I mean, the guy's a giant, but still, he's like 49 years old. Come on. The Rangers are ill-prepared for Northeast grinded-out hockey, okay? They don't go after the big guy. They stay away from the rough and tumble stuff, okay? And when we finally have somebody with a little grit in Lemieux, they get rid of him. I understand. He asked for a trade earlier in the season. He wanted out, but he still went out there. He still battled every game. He still gave you a little extra on a team that it seemed for most of the year wasn't going anywhere, and then they got hot and turned it on. That trade, they get rid of him. I don't agree with it. I mean, I keep the guy there in that spot. But then you go against the Capitals. I mean, great team, aging Ovechkin, but the guy will still score the pants off of anybody the Rangers got on the team other than Panarin. Okay, and you know who they have. You know Tom Wilson. Everybody knows Tom Wilson's shtick. Okay, great hockey player, big guy, gets in front of the net. He can score. Okay, he gets under people's skin. He can move bodies. But what he did was completely uncalled for. I mean, the rough stuff is part of the game, but you're taking liberties and cheap shots on not only somebody in Buchnevich who's face down on the ice, but then you go after our number one goal scorer. You go after a superstar who you have outweighed by about 60 pounds. And not only
more.
you throw him on the ice head first once, you do it twice. I mean, seriously, people get hurt doing less. Career-ending injuries on an ice rink happen often. Okay, and so the NHL might be the bigger douche of the week. Okay, because the $5,000 fine because of whatever player agreement and it's a scrum, that is horseshit. Okay, that is horseshit. That was pure intent to injure. Okay, taking liberties with a player that was not trying to fight him, was literally just trying to hold him back and cover up.
He's pulling him off the pile.
And not only he gets body slammed not once but twice. I mean, no helmet on. That could have gone south a lot faster than it did. And Panarin misses the rest of the season. And a $5,000 fine. You're essentially saying, hey, you know what? The next time you're going into a scrum and, hey, you might be lined up against the Islanders round one, go take a two-hander to Barzal. Take his head off. $5,000 bucks. We'll pay it.
Buchnevich just did it, didn't he?
Well, no, and he got suspended. He got a game suspension because it wasn't a scrum, or they want to put it to where it fits them, and they don't want to take anything away from the Capitals because they're going to the playoffs and the Rangers aren't. But at a certain point, you got to stand up for the players and somebody that's just bullying people and trying to hurt people. Okay, it's ridiculous, and I feel bad for Panarin. And you know what? I mean, hats off to Brendan Smith. The guy went out there. He answered the bell. Okay, amazing. The second Tom Wilson touches the puck, he beelines for him and goes toe to toe. He has no business being in that fight. He's tough as nails. He's got grit out the ass. But I mean, and you know what? He didn't come out on top, but he didn't come out on the bottom either. He held his own, and I loved it. And you know what? Yeah. That's what hockey needs. You got to show, because if the Rangers didn't do that, I mean, the line brawl to start the game, take it or leave it. It was soft. It was easy. It was really nothing to it. But I will say that right there shows grit. That shows toughness. That says, you want to mess with our players. You know what? We'll do what we got to do. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you might win that fight 99%. Nobody wants to get punched in the face. And you're going to get punched in the face.
I will say he gave him like the old JBL clothesline from hell to Panarin, man. That was a brutal hit. But I will say,
I thought it was more of a rock bottom.
I don't know. They said it was like a clothesline though.
Maybe we need to get Matt on the show. Matt can talk.
Yeah, just for this one. Just
for this one thing. Like, go to Matt. Hey, Matt, what do you think?
I will say, when they did a line fight, I actually laughed. I'm like, yeah, the three guys dropped and they just started fighting, and then you just see Zdeno Chara coming, and he's just like, "You want to do this?" And the guy was just like, the Ranger guy was just like, "Nah, not really."
Did you see?
Zdeno Chara actually is I looked it up. He is actually 44 years old now. And he is 6'9", and that's not skates. So I'm assuming with skates, he's close to 7 foot.
Another 5 inches. Another 4 to 5 inches.
Yeah.
How big is that skate?
That's a big skate.
That's a big skate.
It's a big skate. But did you see when he was lined up with the ref as the fight's going on, the Ranger fans arguing with him through the glass? Love it.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, love it. I got to send you the video.
So here's my question. At what point does Tom Wilson just take off his skate and try to cut somebody with it? Because it's a $6,000 fine. I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, it's $5,000.
Felonious assault with intent to injure. It's a $5,000 fine. That's it. And let's. So we're talking about, you know, the douche of the week, Tom Wilson. We're also going to throw George Parros in there. George Parros is going to get thrown in there. He's a douche. All right. And
Can we just throw in James Dolan too, just because he's James Dolan?
I'm sorry. I have to defend James Dolan a little bit. Because you know what? After it comes out that Gorton and JD are trying to distance themselves from that statement, I have no problem with that statement. Did it come off a little whiny? Sure. But an owner sticking up for the players on his team, saying, "Hey, NHL, take your heads out of your asses. You're going to let our players get injured for and no recourse, a $5,000 fine." It's a joke. And he called them out on their bullshit. He called them out on their joke. And then they get hit with a $250,000 fine for calling them out.
I would have gave them $500,000 and been like, they'd have been like, "What's this extra stuff for next time?"
Yeah, right. I mean, listen,
next time you screw this up.
Gorton did a good job. They're here, 2 years going with the rebuild. I mean, getting JD back, I was happy as shit when that guy came back.
I was happy about that too.
Yeah.
Listen,
JD's blue.
Listen, he's a Ranger forever. I mean, when he went to St. Louis, I was sad to see him go, but we get him back. He comes back. I mean, did wonders in St. Louis, and he's a hockey guy. He's a Ranger guy. To see him leave sucks, but I also have to defend an owner that's going to stand by what he says. And when your GM and your president are going to try to distance themselves from you and call you out on, "Oh, you know, you shouldn't have said that." But there's a lot of things that shouldn't have happened, starting with Panarin getting body slammed twice to the ice, and the NHL turns around and fines $5,000.
You know, the biggest problem I had with that wasn't so much that he threw him to the ice. The biggest problem I had was pulling hair. Okay, this isn't what Glow. This isn't the gorgeous ladies of wrestling where we're grabbing people by their hair now.
You don't mess with the flow. That's
all right. You don't mess with the flow. And 2, hockey rules. If somebody goes down to the ice, you don't hit them. And he did it twice because Buchnevich is on, and every stupid freaking dumbass Caps fan is going to sit out there and go, "Oh, he hit him in the shoulder," because he fucking missed, okay? Because he missed, all right? He didn't hit him in the shoulder because he was aiming for his shoulder. He fucking missed. He has bad aim, okay? And then same shit with Panarin. He knocks Panarin down. Panarin's on all fours, and he's punching him in the back of the head with no helmet on. And they're going, oh, but he's got gloves on. I'll put a glove on, and I'll punch any Caps fan square in the mouth and see how they like it.
It makes it worse. Listen,
I got a glove on.
Somebody that played hockey, I've gotten into my share of little mismatch hockey fights out there.
You? No.
No, I know.
The guy that called our baseball umpire out for a fight in the parking lot?
Listen, I'm just saying, if you thought Panarin got ragdolled there a little bit, I mean, you should see me in action.
Oh, God.
I'm on the ice immediately. I die for the ice.
So speaking of fighting, we've actually had this conversation during the week, but you have to pick one athlete to fight. Who is that athlete? I'll go around. I'll go TJ, Nick, and then I'll go last here.
I got to go last. I got to wait.
All right. Nick, you go first.
I'll go. We already talked about this. I don't know. I can't pronounce his real name, but he calls himself War Machine. And just so we can clarify, we're talking about if we were the same size and or bigger than this, like we could really put the screws to this guy. War Machine would be my athlete who I would absolutely curb stomp and decimate. I get it. He's in jail and he's probably getting rammed in the butt every single day in jail, God willing. If the guys in jail are doing the right thing, that's what they're doing. But he broke 18 bones in Christy Mack. He knocked out like 3 of her teeth. He destroyed her liver to the point where the ER doctor is sitting there going like she was in a car accident. And then he tried to rape her. And, thank God his dick didn't work because he's on steroids. But how heinous of a human being are you?
It's pretty disgusting
and
violent.
And she hasn't been the same since. And I know it's been a while, but since this isn't cutting edge news where I'm like, I'm gonna fight this guy because it happened yesterday. It didn't happen yesterday, but still to this day, fuck that guy. If I saw him in the street, there'd be a misunderstanding and I'd crack his skull. I don't give a shit. Even me as I am 5'10", 190. If I saw this guy who's an MMA fighter, I'd take a baseball bat to the side of his head because no matter how big you are, a baseball bat is the great equalizer.
Yeah, he deserves worse.
He deserves worse, 100%.
So I was saying that I would pick Jose Altuve because that cheated little bastard. He probably would have cheated in the fight though. But the funny thing is, I wouldn't have to become an athlete. I think I'm probably the same size as him at this point, right? I'm only like
you might be like 2 inches taller than he is.
He's like 5'2", right?
Something like that. He had a fucking home run today, but fuck him.
He did, but fuck that guy. And I guess T, I don't even thinking about it. But
no, I have to go.
He's got a long list.
No, it depends.
Tom Wilson.
Depends on the day of the week. I mean, no, honestly, in all seriousness, Brad Marchand, fuck him. I hate Brad Marchand. Talk about a guy that cheap shots everybody. I mean, there's B-roll of him just cup checking everybody on the ice with his stick and skating away. Okay, licking somebody. He licked fucking Ryan Callahan. Like,
that was
the matter with you?
He was licking everybody.
Creepy. Yeah, just fucking creepy. That's like one guy,
free throw with the ear blow, with the ear blow on LeBron.
Yeah. Listen, especially for size, I'm surprised nobody has dominated him in the worst way because he gets under everybody's skin and he's a good player. I won't take that away from him. But God, I would like to bury my fist in that guy's face. I really would.
That being said, let's talk about the difference between Marchand and Wilson, because I would say Wilson's a full-on goon. Marchand is like right here when it comes to being.
He's an agitator.
He's an agitator. He's an agitator.
Yeah,
but I will say
exactly
the big difference is, and this is the capper for me with Wilson, is how many sports do you get suspended 5 times in your career for the same roundabout, the same thing, and you still get to play? That's the part I can't wrap my head around is there's no other sport where you can get busted 5 times. Imagine you found a pitcher who was constantly getting thrown out of games and suspended for doctoring the baseball. The guy wouldn't be in baseball anymore.
It's simple.
Baseball has to
get caught with performance-enhancing drugs for a 3rd time. You're gone. See you later. Bye-bye.
That's what I was gonna say. I was just about to make a point.
And that's not assaulting anybody.
That's a little different. That's a little different.
But you're not assaulting anybody.
But you're not hurting anybody. You're ruining the integrity of the game. But you're not hurting anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think that's my biggest thing with Wilson is, fights are part of hockey. They are, but what he did is not. That's not, like, just like in war, there's rules, Right. Yeah, you have a job, just like in boxing, there's rules. In UFC, there's rules. When you break those rules, you're no longer playing the game anymore. You're no longer a part of that sport. You're doing something else outside of it. And at that point, you're no longer a player. You're an asshole.
Listen, Tom Wilson wouldn't have pulled that shit with the Knights. Reeves would destroy him over and over and over again.
110%.
I'd even give it to the Islanders. I mean,
Martin.
As Matt Martin would
fought him.
Did you hear what Boomer Esiason had to say about that?
I did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, Boomer was like, my son-in-law. Look at him. And he showed like the picture. He's like, look at him curl up in a ball away from my son-in-law. My son-in-law. Because some people would say my son-in-law plays that way. He goes, there's a difference. And he said the same thing basically that I did. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and compare my comment to what Boomer Esiason said. He probably came off way better than I did. But, he did say like, my son's, he plays an aggressive style. And I like that for my Rangers as well. He goes, but you cross the line at some point, you're no longer playing hockey. You're a thug.
Listen, there's an understanding, even somebody like Matt Martin who gets into fights, okay, who's a big boy, who has knocked people out, who has hurt people, but you don't go out there to hurt people. You get into a fight, You're trying to win the fight, you're trying to amp your team up. You won't see Matt Martin try to skate over and side punch some dude that he knows he's got 70 pounds on and can easily dominate. Get under skin, sure. Get a little rough and tumble against the boards, no big deal. It's part of the game. You'll never see Matt Martin come across and punch somebody in the face while their face is down on the ice.
Oh, yeah, and I hate the Islanders, and I agree with you 100%. I hate the Islanders.
Yeah.
I can't believe him defending the Islanders in his Ranger jersey. I gotta take it off.
You gotta burn
take it off.
Now.
Yeah, it's a Gretzky jersey. It stays forever.
Yeah,
go take a shower. You're dirty.
The crazy thing about it is that it actually brought like hockey fans together to like all be like, Tom Wilson's the biggest douche.
There's
like,
20,
rid of this guy?
28 other teams, yeah, and then you got the Capital fans like, oh, stop being a whiny bitch.
Yeah,
you guys suck. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Somebody I'm happy to call a friend, Jason from Long Island. Shout out to Jason in Long Island. Huge Islanders fan. He and I are like this. We're at each other's throats all hockey season. Fuck the Rags. Fuck the Islanders. Go back to the suburbs. The last 3 days, we have been like this. Like, you know what? Fuck Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson has become the rally cry for everybody in the NHL. And the fact that the NHL hasn't done anything about this piece of shit human being is just mind-boggling. That the entire hockey world, except for the fucking dumbest of the dumb Capitals fans, have united and said, you should do something about that guy. And like the fact that I got Pittsburgh fans going, yeah, the Rangers are right. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell?
You
like,
need
and they do nothing. It's crazy.
Nick, you need that meme of the white hand and the black hand shaking hands, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And it just says Islanders fans,
Apollo Creed
hated Tom Wilson. That's what you need.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah, that's right. Carl Weathers was on this side. Yeah.
Listen, everybody hates Tom Wilson. I love it.
Yeah, you guys.
I hope they lose first round.
Yeah. All right then. So getting into the MLB.
Yes,
obviously,
sir.
We're all three Yankee fans here. It's a big series this week. Yankees versus Astros. I think they got some of the revenge. I think the fans got more of the revenge than the actual Yankees.
I am proud of Yankee fans.
Yes,
they came out big. When you have players crying to the MLB, they're saying mean things from the stands.
Yeah.
Tell them to get rid of the garbage cans.
Did you see that actually? They banned the Oscar the Grouch costume.
Yes, they did.
So
they confiscated inflatable garbage cans.
Yeah.
And little garbage cans. Like if you brought like a little one and it looked like a dumpster or something like that, they were taking that from me too.
Yeah. The actual awesome thing about that, I saw a video of that happening. And I guess as the guy's leaving, a Yankee fan just hands him the beer.
Yes.
And he's like getting kicked out. He's waving at everybody. You know, Masahiro Tanaka commented on that.
Yes.
And that was
from Japan.
Incredible thing ever. I miss Masahiro Tanaka.
Tanaka was like, it's 2 a.m. in Japan, and I love fans that hand off beers.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he probably appreciated it the most because I mean, he probably, obviously was a victim of that. I mean, not a victim, says a victim, but
listen,
he was a pitcher against the Astros.
We are all victims. We got cheated. Like I don't think that people in
2017.
The Houston apologists will sit there and be like, "Oh, you're just salty. We're still the champions," with an asterisk next to it. All right, just like
100%.
Bonds, just like McGuire, just like Sosa, just like A-Rod. All right, you got a little star next to your name because you cheated. You cheated the game. That's it. The last time I checked, the last time somebody cheated the World Series, they got banned from baseball forever. Okay, to this day, Shoeless Joe Jackson is a nobody in the Baseball Hall of Fame. All right, back in the day, you got caught cheating. The first thing that happened to you, you caught some sweet chin music right then and there. All right, you didn't get a chance to sit there and get in the box and no, you took your licks and you didn't cry about it to the league. Like we're in a world now where there was no justice. There was no ramifications to these guys, and obviously a lot of them have left the team. But those 3 jabronis that are still there, or 4 jabronis that are still on that team, fuck those 4 guys and let them get booed. I hope MLB unites around this and says, fuck those guys.
They should. I mean, listen,
we were all cheated. We were all cheated.
At the end of the day, the MLB let the players get away with it to get to the bottom of it because it happened right under their noses and they had no clue what was going on. To the effect of they're trying to figure out, wow, do they really have a camera set up in the outfield to pick off signs and have an AV guy rigging up their stadium so they can watch it down the tunnel? I mean, right in their faces. So I don't appreciate the fact that the MLB let the players slide and then you want to go after coaches and everybody, different standard. Everybody cheated. But they had to save face and figure out how they were cheating and what was going on. So they let the players slide. But you know what? The fans are not letting the players slide. Everybody knows what happened. The hell with them.
Everybody feels honestly, cheated too.
Every fan in that stadium wanted Correa, Bregman, and Altuve to catch about 3 or 4 in the back. Okay? And the Yankees, good for them. They have class. They didn't do that. They said, let's just go run up the score on these guys. Let's just go out there and beat them our way. End of story. And they let the fans do the talking, and the fans did the talking. It was amazing.
And today we got all these Astros fans going, and Altuve shut them up. I'm like, look, you got owned for the last I don't know what games. Before that 7 innings. What was it? 16 innings. You got owned. More than that. You got, what was it? I can't do math.
You got to do math. 18 plus 7.
25 innings. You got owned. You got owned for 25 innings. Okay.
There you go.
And to sit there and say, well, Altuve hit a home run. He shut them all up. No, he didn't. Because the next at bat, they were still saying, fuck Altuve. Fuck your birthday. All right. Yeah. And rightfully so. He earned it. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody in their division should feel cheated. Right.
You got 29 teams that do not respect that ring. Do not, and they'll never get respect.
Did you like Dusty Baker's comments, Ant? What he was like,
what was it again?
Most of those players aren't even here. Do you hate the organization? Do you hate the players? Do you hate the uniform? Yes.
100%. Well, my thing is like, you come through and you're like complaining, like, oh, the fans are bullying us. The fans are calling us names. They're being too mean. Like, you weren't suspended. This is your punishment. Like, the fans are doing the sentencing, and you got to take it. Just let it go at this point. Just take what it is everyone's going to say to you. They're just words. I mean, they're not throwing bottles. They're not throwing batteries.
We throw batteries and bottles at our own players. We should have thrown it at them too, but
and
listen, they're lucky they didn't screw Philly. They would have screwed Philly. They would have got shot.
That's true.
Shout out to Philly.
Shout out to Philly.
Take it easy.
Philly fans don't play. I could have went to that first Winter Classic with the Rangers and Philadelphia Flyers, and I said, absolutely not. I'm not getting my ass kicked.
The Bronx ain't what it used to be.
Game in Philly. Yeah. The thing is, too, I guess, about before this, which kind of stinks, is that it was a very good series for the Yankees. I mean, Cole was pitching. He gave the 2 solo shots, but he was dominating again. Chad Green comes in. He has a bad game. It happens, but it just sucks that it was Altuve that did it. And it was on his birthday, and everyone was saying, "Fuck your birthday!" It was incredible. And then this guy hits a home run to win the game. It was.
I'll say why this bothers me. Why was Cole taken out? Like, I hate analytics, and I'll say this, and I said something about it on Facebook yesterday, and some people think they'll disagree, and that's fine. Analytics are not the end all be all when it comes to baseball, because and CC Sabathia said it, he goes, analytics will sit there and say this guy can hit a changeup, and that's fine. But analytics doesn't take into account the individual. Can he hit my changeup? Would you argue that a fastball from Nolan Ryan is different than a fastball from Tom Glavine? I would say a fastball, Nolan Ryan's Express has its own fucking name. It's a little bit different than a fastball from Tom Glavine or Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
So to sit there and say,
I agree with that.
To sit there and say like, oh, this guy's a fastball hitter, don't throw him fastballs. That's ludicrous. It's absolutely he can hit a fastball. Can he hit my fastball? And when you're a major league baseball player, when you're a professional athlete, you kind of have to walk out onto the field of battle with that swag that no matter what you do, it's gold. It's gold. This guy throws 100 miles an hour. He can strike out the league, but can he strike me out?
Yeah. My thing, just to
really pull.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna side on Boone. I never do agree with Boone when it comes to these things, but he was at 97 pitches. You have the best bullpen in the MLB right now. Until today, they haven't given up a lead or blown a save until today. Or that's one of the stats I saw, I think. And then they immediately blown it. But it was I don't know. I think it was 97 pitches. It's May. If it was, we're talking about September, we're in the middle of a race. Yeah, keep him in there, let him throw 100 to 120.
So when do you stretch him out?
I just think it's early in the season. Player, it's not like
you ask any baseball player, and you and I played baseball a long time. Granted, we're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination. I played a little college ball. I pitched. It didn't hurt so much to throw 100 pitches in a row. It hurt when I had to throw today and tomorrow. That hurt. When I had to sit down for 4 innings or whatever it is, what felt like 4 innings because my team had a rally going. That hurt. But like being a reliever as a starter, being a reliever probably hurts more than, if you go from being a starter to being a reliever, that probably hurts more than throwing 150 pitches. I'm not saying throwing 150 pitches is good for you. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying is that once in a while throwing 110 is not bad. And maybe the reason these guys can't throw 110 is because they're trying to throw every pitch 110.
So I think I actually saw it on Twitter. I think I liked it. Hold on, let me pull this up. The bullpen stats, which is the only reason why I will be pulling this up, is because I think kind of proves my point that it is the best bullpen. And I think,
it is.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
Suck.
Listen, but when do you stretch out Cole? When do you stretch him out?
If they don't lose that game, nobody questions him. Obviously, we're playing Monday morning quarterback here, but I agree. I mean, you got an ace. You're paying him how much money? I mean,
$30 million.
He should be able to. I mean, if you can't get 8-9 innings, especially in a game like that, I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe he turned around. Maybe he told Boone, "I'm done. I got nothing left. Tank is empty." But I don't think it. I think Garrett Cole's a gamer. I mean, he seems like one of those guys that, yeah, coach, I got nothing left, but I'm going to give him my all in the ninth. Don't take me out.
He's the big
kind of guy.
I pulled it up, the stat. It was, besides Rollis Chapman, Jonathan Loizaga, 14 games, 18.1 innings, 2 earned runs, 0.98 ERA. Chad Green, 14 games, 1.02 ERA, 18 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 9 hits in 17.2 innings. And then Luis Sessa, who is the worst one out of them, 1.35 ERA.
How dare he?
Unbelievable.
He's got to step it up.
Wait, real quick. Talk to me about Nick Nelson.
Yeah, don't talk about him.
Okay, all right. I wanted to clarify that one.
But think about it, with Nick Nelson's horrible numbers is still the best bullpen in the MLB.
Well, that's because we got Michael King pick up the slack for Nick Nelson.
Well, Michael King pitches a great game, and then they're like, "Oh, you have to go back to the alternate side. You're too good to be up here."
That's what it seems
the analytics doesn't count for you, so we got to get you back down. Which I hate that. I think he's good, and he should be up.
I'll say
that's another different point, another argument for later.
My last point about analytics, right? I think that you see a lot of strikeouts looking these days by guys that are batting on the interstate. They're under the Mendoza line because of analytics. I think they're sitting there going, all right, I did my research. I checked did my homework to 2-2 count. And the analytics say this guy's throwing me a hook. I'm not swinging unless it's a hook. And the guy throws a fastball down Main Street, throws a fucking cock shot at him, and he just stares at it and goes, I thought he was going to throw a curveball. You're batting 110. You should not be guessing anything. It's baseball 101. T, what's the first pitch you're going to swing at?
Fastball down the middle.
The first fast one, right? That's it. You see something straight and fast, swing at it. Mm-hmm. These guys are sitting there looking for curveballs. It's mind-boggling. And then we're wondering why everybody is striking out. Strikeouts are huge. Like strikeouts these days are like through the roof. It's crazy. It's absolute madness. People are setting records for strikeouts now. Like it used to be like what Bobby Bonds used to be the season. Ken Griffey Sr. was the season record holder for strikeouts in the season, I think. It's either Ken Griffey Sr. or Bobby Bonds. One of the two of them were senior. Now it changes every year. Every year is a new guy. So I think Adam Dunn passed him. A few years ago.
Well, Judge is on his way.
I mean, maybe
7 straight Ks.
That's awful. That's beyond platinum sombrero. I need like a mythical type of metal to give it to that. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's a platinum UFO, because a UFO is a circle that's bigger than a sombrero. I don't know.
It's a triple bogey.
Oh my goodness. But I think analytics are a big part of that. Is that you got guys like Gary Sanchez and Clint Frazier and Aaron Hicks sitting there going, I'm looking for a changeup or I'm looking for a curveball, and the guy throws heat down the pipe, and they're just like, they can't unload because their mind is set on that pitch.
Yeah. And so another Yankees point obviously before today they were 11-4, so now they're 11-5 since the Jay Bruce retirement. Do you think it's a coincidence or cause and effect?
Who came up when Bruce went away? Albert Abreu?
No, they brought Ford up, didn't they? Because they had him play because Ford was hurt.
They brought in Odor.
Oh, Odor started. Well, yeah, they traded for him beforehand, but he started playing more, I think, too.
Well, no, that was like the next day. Like Bruce retired, and then
same day,
and then
they traded for Odor.
I think they got Odor that day, and then Bruce retired the next day.
Right.
So is it a Jay Bruce is a sacrificial lamb, or is it Odor? Well, Odor is hurt now, but I mean, they lost today after his injury.
I'll say this: if they win the World Series, he still gets a ring.
That's true. He was on the team long enough.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter if he's on the team long enough. They gave Jorge Posada a World Series ring for 1996. He was on the game. He was on the team for 8 games. Okay, 0 hits, 1 walk, 0 runs scored, 0 RBIs, and they continuously say that he's won the 1996 World Series for a September call-up. Okay, Jay Bruce gets a ring. All right, Yankees win the World Series. I'll mail him the ring myself.
Well, I just laugh at it because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Jay Bruce is be off this team. The series why they're losing." And I was always like, well, no, they're not really not. And then all of a sudden he retires and now they're 11-5. So it's like, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a coincidence or it's a cause and effect.
You know, all I know is the Yankees never won a World Series while Donnie Baseball was on the team either. Was it his fault?
No. I mean, I'm kind of half joking here, Nick, but
no, some people are serious though. Some people are serious.
I know.
Well, who wore the stash better? Ford or Donnie Baseball?
Come on. Is that a real question, TJ?
You can't do
Dude,
that.
What are you doing?
Listen, everybody hates Ford's mustache. That thing is on point, okay? That is top Selleck out there. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
I like it, but come on, Donnie Baseball.
Yeah.
Here's the real question, right? Who had the better mustache, Giambi or Ford? Because Giambi had a little dirt stash for a little bit too.
I'd actually go Ford. I think Ford is a lot thicker and fuller.
Right? He looks good. I think
he looks more manlier.
He looks good. Like you said, very Selleck. Very Selleck.
Listen, if we were going who wore the leopard thong better in the dugout on a hit streak, okay, Giambi gets it, but
Giambi gets it. All right, so moving on to the MLB, other fun things or things that happened this week that are kind of funny. We'll touch them real quick. The Rays put 4 outfielders in the outfield for Mike Trout, and only for him to hit a home run over all 4 of them. The announcer was great. He's like, "Put 7 of them out there."
So I don't have a problem with that. You know, obviously Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. There is no question. And I don't know who wants to argue that. You know, they're going to end up arguing with fake thought processes like, well, if he played in another market, if he played, if the queen had balls, she'd be the king. He doesn't. He's still the best player in baseball. All right, best pure athlete we've seen out there since Griffey Jr. And that's saying a lot because I love Ken Griffey Jr. Mike Trout is so friggin' special. It's a shame that he doesn't want to be famous and that he's mired out there in La La Land, like just not mattering to the world at all. And
10 p.m. game starts for us on the East Coast.
But he's happy.
He's just about to play right now.
We don't even get to see him. I'm in bed.
I got MLB TV. T-Mobile, baby. T-Mobile gave me MLB TV for free.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. right now, Nick. Put it on. All right, moving on from Mike Trout.
But real quick, before we leave Mike Trout, I do want to point. You're talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. Did you guys see? I think I showed you the video. That douchebag of the week for last week, Kevin Kiermaier robbing his own teammate, going out of his way. And you know what? Like, I saw that, and I don't know if you guys ever watched the Wayans brothers, but there's an episode where Marlon is playing Little League and he hates Kenny Lofton. And when he's like, "Oh, I hate Kenny Lofton. You're jealous of me, Kenny. You're jealous." And when they ask him why, he's like, "It was Little League and we were in the playoff game for the championship. And the ball was coming to me, and I could have been the hero." And you just see the video of a young kid who's supposed to be Kenny Lofton jump in front of Marlon and catch the ball in right field. And that's what Kevin Kiermaier did. And all I could see was Arizarena. "You're jealous of me, Kevin. You're jealous." Like, what was he think? Like, hey, you got to have some thought process about yourself to think that that's your ball. Like, I played center field for how many years, T? A long time, right?
Forever.
My outfielders. What did I always say about my outfield? We were the best outfield in our league. Granted, we played beer league baseball, but
Yeah.
I always said I have the best outfield, and it wasn't because of me. I was good, I think. I like to think I was good at least, but I was so
Serviceable.
Thank you, thank you. I was so
He was
confident
not that good.
I was so confident in my right and my left fielders because they were good and we could feel each other and we knew where we were on the field. And shout out to John Jastrzemski from JJ After Dark, and now he's got his own show on
You keep shouting out a lot
Spotify.
of people. Are they paying you for these shout outs?
I know a lot of people, man. Go listen to our friend, John Jastrzemski on Spotify. He's got his own show out there, formerly JJ After Dark on WFAN. John Jastrzemski. Go listen to him.
Yeah,
Spotify.
One of the best.
Don't listen to this Don't listen to this podcast. Listen to this guy's podcast.
Oh, listen, they can listen to ours. They can listen to John. Listen, it's like pizza. Everybody loves it. Okay. All right.
No,
so
I get it. I'm just
but for him to, what really drove me crazy was the interview after the fact, where he was basically like, "I didn't do anything wrong. Fuck that guy." Like that's where I was kind of like.
I think what makes it even worse is not even that he cuts him off, but like he made there was a runner on third. Like a Rosarina has the better angle on it.
Oh yes.
And then he throws his ball and it's not even close to the plate. It's like, what are you doing, dude? That's just ridiculous. That's just a Tampa Bay Rays though. They're a bunch of
it was like Manny Ramirez when he cuts off the ball from the other outfielder.
Yeah. Oh yes.
For some reason, Manny got in on a relay. It was the same deal. Like, and even the announcer was like, "A Rosarena's underneath it," and for some reason, Kiermaier catches the ball. The only thing that would have made that better is if he would have dropped the ball. That would have and his post game where I'm a platinum glove winner, so I have confidence in myself. So you don't have. I'm not saying I don't have confidence in a Rosarena. What I'm saying is I have more confidence in myself than I do in Randy. Okay, great teammate. Got yourself a winner. And I think the best comment I saw on Twitter was somebody said maybe you should concentrate more on your not batting 220 than you do whether or not a Rosarena is going to catch a fly ball.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough of the Tampa Bay Rays. Jock Peterson against his former team in extra innings, obviously with the stupid runner on second, hits the ball, bat flips it. Looks like this ball is gone. Game over. Walk off against my former team. Shove it up their ass. And Mookie Betts barely catches it on the warning track. How awkward is that?
I love it. I love it.
I
hate the bat flip. I hate the bat flip so much. I really do. You're showing up an opponent. I mean, come on. The league wants to get away from drilling people. There's a perfect reason to drill somebody. You want to show me up? You get drilled.
I'll say this. I don't really agree with hitting a batter with a baseball when he shows you up. I don't agree with bat flipping by any stretch of the imagination. I think a celebration is fine. A la Kirk Gibson when he hits that home run in the World Series and he does the fist bump. He's excited.
Absolutely.
He's happy.
Absolutely.
Even Sosa, when Sosa would hit one and he had that little hop.
Right.
That's excitement. That's excitement. You're a little happy about it. If you want to clap your hands, all right, that's happy. When you stand there and you stare at the pitcher or you flip the bat, you're basically pulling out your dick and waving it at the guy, saying, "Fuck you." The problem that we have today is that people don't have respect for their opponents. One thing I've started to get into a lot lately is UFC. And two guys go in the ring and decimate each other and hug each other at the end and say, "Thank you." Even if you knock that guy out or you broke his leg. What's his name? Just broke his leg the other day. I can't recall his name right now. Chris Weidman. He broke his leg the other day. And the only thing you heard was, "I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't want to win that way." Right. And then we got baseball players, a game where there's no fucking contact and you hit a home run more often than not, you're lucky than good. And you want to show up the guy. Like, I think we have to take into consideration as people that without your opponent, there is no game. This isn't racing. This isn't swimming. This isn't fucking javelin tossing. Without an opponent, there is nothing to see. So show the guy a little modicum of respect that he threw a ball that you tanked. And in Jock Peterson's case, didn't tank. Okay. And be a little classier than that.
I'm once again a contrarian here. I don't mind the bat flip. Some of them I obviously I think are a little obnoxious. I think like Tim Anderson throwing the bat like in the head. And
Jose Bautista.
That one was pretty bad too. That he just hit that into orbit. Yeah, that one's bad.
The way
Bautista got what he deserved. Bat flipping, and then what happened? Run into Odor's fist. career over. Odor's fist might be the scariest fist in the MLB. He will take your career from you.
Yeah,
You'll be a shell of a man.
He hit Jose Bautista with a 2-piece hold the biscuit. Extra
Dude,
spicy.
that was a real baseball punch. A punch hasn't been thrown like that on an MLB field since what? Strawberry went after what's his name?
It's Graham Lloyd and Strawberry went after Benitez. Yes.
Yeah, Graham
and
Lloyd
before that, when Nolan Ryan gave the noogies to Robin Ventura.
I was gonna say Nolan
But
Ryan.
even that was a little soft. I mean, like seriously, Odor's punch was straight. This is the street, and I'm gonna knock you out.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say at least if you're gonna bat flip, at least make sure it's a home run first.
Absolutely. So
that's step one.
Bat flipping and all that stuff to me, staring down pitchers and bat flipping, and even pitchers with their stupid Jabba Chamberlain with his obnoxious I struck somebody out and then I disappeared from baseball once I left the Yankees because I guess those gnats ruined his life and he couldn't play baseball anymore. But all of that crap, the midges, yes, the midges.
No, I said midgets.
So all of that to me is like if you were a linebacker and you sacked the quarterback and you stood on top of him and looked down on him like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. It's like what Tom Wilson did from the box the other day when he was like, big fucking stupid goon. You're a douchebag, okay? To me personally, when you crank one out and you pretend like, you guys seen Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
There's a part where Chun-Li is flipping out. You killed my father, you piece of shit. I hate you. And he goes, I'm sorry, I don't remember. And she's like, what do you mean you don't remember? And he's like, the day I came through your village and killed your father is the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. And I've always felt like if you're a professional athlete and you do great things, if you acted like you didn't give a shit, knowing that you just broke the heart of not only your opponent, but everybody else that was rooting for them, and you just acted like, I don't give a fuck. This is light work. Like Andrew Jones always had that kind of mentality. Like, I don't give a shit. This is light work. Like, it's no big deal to me.
No, there's something in the silence. Yeah.
I feel like that hurts so much, and they can't even hate you for it. You know, if you crank one out and you just put your head down and run around the bases like, okay, whatever, and everybody else is going crazy, and you're just like, whatever. Like, the opponents can't hate you. All you got to do is tip your cap and go, I fucking hate that guy. But you know, what do you say? What do you say about that? But these guys today, they don't have respect and they like to rub it in people's, and I guess that's what young kids like until they don't get their participation trophy, and then they don't like it anymore.
Pretty much.
Well, moving on from the bat flip to the near perfect game by John Means. That is a brutal way to lose a perfect game. And not because not like you could blame someone like on an error, but a wild pitch is your own error on a strikeout. And it was on a strikeout, which is even crazier.
You know what? He wasn't upset about it. He was all happy. He said in a million years he never thought he'd get a no-hitter. I think, what was it, like 2 years ago, he was looking for a job in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, obviously, it's not probably not in the long, the thick of things or, thinking about his actual mindset. He's probably just happy to get that no-hitter in the major league. I mean,
I think it means more to us. I think us sitting here as fans going, oh, my God, it was so close to a perfect game. Yeah. How many perfect games have there been? And that guy's like, oh, my God, I got another strikeout. Oh, another out. Let's go. We were going to win this game. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody like that who was walked off the field and doing interviews and was happy and ecstatic about his no-hitter and didn't give a shit about the perfect game. Yeah, I'd love to get it, but, hey, I just threw a no-hitter. Awesome.
I think the only one I've seen that's worse is the blown call by the umpire. Who was that? Galarraga? Galarraga was pitching.
That's
and Jim Joyce was the ump, and he actually apologized and started crying after the game. Like, I blew the call. I'm so sorry. I wish I could go back.
I take Jim Joyce over Angel Hernandez any day of the week.
Oh God, Angel
Hernandez would have sat there and said, "Yeah, I saw the replay. He was still out. Oh, it's still safe."
You're only picking on me because I'm Spanish.
Yeah, and then sue the MLB.
Did Galarraga actually end up losing that game too?
No, I don't think they did. They lose? I don't think they lost. No, they didn't lose. He just lost. He just lost that perfect game.
Right. And he got
a no hitter. And he lost a no hitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they called it a hit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually gonna look it up what the final score was.
That
they did win. It was a 3-0 victory. So they did eventually win. Imagine though if they lost that game.
But I mean, I think that has more of an asterisk next to it than Means. Like, yeah, Means threw the wild pitch. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, he threw the wild pitch.
It sucks. It sucks, but it is what it is. I mean,
We also got
Galarraga, he threw a perfect game. We all saw it. It's
Yep.
like the exact opposite of what Johan Santana did, where he didn't throw a no-hitter, and they called
And
it
they
a
didn't
no-hitter
call it.
anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also you got to think. You also did it on the Orioles, so I mean, having the defense and not everyone else screw it up is pretty awesome as well. But,
Yeah.
well, I mean, for the MLB, I guess that's pretty much, unless you guys have any other MLB stories this week or baseball.
Oh
No?
yeah, the what's his name from the Reds? What's his name? Amir Garrett.
What about him?
You didn't see that? You guys missed
No.
that? Oh my goodness! This guy he strikes out an opponent. I want to say they're playing the Cubs. Strikes him out, and he starts screaming at the batter. I think it was Rizzo is walking away, and he's going off on Rizzo, and then finally Baez comes out, and it's the benches clearing like altercation, all because this guy strikes somebody out in May, and he's like, "Fuck you, fuck your mother, fuck your town, I'll kill all of you." And Rizzo's walking away like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And
I actually didn't see
the
that.
rest of the Cubs didn't like it, and Baez got suspended for a game because he flipped off Garrett, and
Oh,
Garrett got 7 games.
wow, that's pretty
And-
crazy. Garrett was part of the awesome fight last year with the Pirates. Remember that when he was like,
Yes.
they take him out of the game. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go over there. I'm going over." And they're like, "All right, go ahead."
Yeah, that's right. That was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, and some people are saying, "Oh, he's fired up because it's the big opponent." It's May. It's fucking May. Like, what is there? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm fired up when we play the Astros, but I'm not dying over the fact that they beat us today. It's May.
I agree.
Yeah, but you also disagree when I said it was May for Garrett called me out of the game.
No, because that actually has to do with the game. Like, at what point do you stretch him out? At what point does he get to 110? You know what I mean?
He
Like,
gets September and October.
but if he hasn't done it up to that point, why take a chance that he gets injured in September and October and he's out for the playoffs?
No, you're
I
right.
mean,
I get that
Because he hasn't done it.
Out of any sport, I think primetime position, they always say NFL, the quarterbacks are babies. I think in the MLB, pitchers are the most whiny, bitchy. Everything doesn't go their way. They fucking cry about it. Like some pitchers in the MLB, they're not men. They're children.
I'll say this.
I don't get it.
I read David Cohn's book. I can't recall what it's called right now, but I read it. And I came to the same counselor. What's it called? Verdict. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah,
I came to the same verdict that the whole book is basically David Cohn blaming the wind and sweat and calluses and dirt and other people for why he can't effectively do his job. Like, it was never David Cohn's fault. It wasn't like I didn't have good stuff that day. I suck. It was like, so I had this callus on my pinky, and even though I don't use my pinky to throw a baseball, it was all that callus's fault. Or like my belt was too tight that day, and I couldn't find a different belt because of the equipment manager, and the dirt on the field felt a little too grainy that day, and not to mention the rosin bag. Oh my goodness, it was so rosiny. And I'm like, are you serious right now? So you can't pitch is what you're saying. Like, that's basically what you're saying, is that I can't do my job because there's so many factors that I rely on to do my job.
Who did they say? What was it? Roger Clemens had to be rubbed down with hot oil before every start.
I think he put icy hot in his crotch so that he wouldn't get comfortable on the mound.
No, I'm almost positive that Roger Clemens. Somebody said that Roger Clemens would be there a couple hours before the game, and would be getting rubbed down, a full massage before start. I mean, like that. If that's not pampering, I don't know what is. I would get a full massage before every day I go to work. I mean, come on.
I like what's his name? Wade Boggs had to eat a bucket of chicken before every game.
Well, Wade Boggs used to also drink the beer on the flight because he hated flying. He drank like 30 or he claimed it's like 60 beers, actually, the actual number.
Well, no, they said it was what was it? It was over 120 between leaving the ballpark and getting to the airport, waiting to get on the plane, and then the bar in the hotel when they got to I think it was East Coast to West Coast. So you got 6.5 hours on a flight. I mean,
that's insane.
Wade Boggs is a hero.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a hero.
Since you mentioned Roger Clemens, do you guys know what today was?
Oh my God!
George Steinbrenner's blocks.
Oh my God! Can she and John Sterling retire, please?
For an organization for an organization that has that many championships and makes that much money, those two to do games, it's just like ridiculous. I'm so sick of John Sterling and his name game. It's all about me. I got to make up home run calls for anybody. Just say the ball went over the left field fence.
Honestly, I agree with you on that one. I'll say he's reaching so hard, like the whole Giancarlo Stanton one. Oh my God! First of all, that's not fucking Italian. I don't know if he knows this, but he is saying Giancarlo Staparlo is not fucking Italian. All right, let's throw that out there right now. Staparlo is about as Italian as Galamad. Okay, there's no G in Calamari. All right, you savages. There's no G in Calamari. All right.
There is none.
So, and then can we talk? Like, remember Rob Refsnyder? Anybody? Rob Refsnyder? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got soul. That kid left Seoul, Korea when he was like -1. For you to sit there and point out the fact that he is from there every time he hits a home run, a place that he doesn't know anything about, like, you're a douche. Okay. Like, don't get me wrong. John Sterling has an amazing radio voice. He's got a great radio face as well. But to listen to him and Susan Waldman on the radio, her and her disgusting accent,
awful,
and just the both of them, Ma and Pa Yank Zera. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that Michael Kay is the greatest announcer in the world, but I will say that I love the fact that when he's on his show, he tears the Yankees a new one. You know, obviously there's some limits, but I don't know if you guys heard the broadcast today, but Paul O'Neill, David Cohn, and Michael Kay were destroying some Yankees, like, over their past performance for the last 2 days. Like, they were taking shots at Judge today, and I was like, good. But Mom, Pa, Yank, Zera, they're not doing that. They're not sitting here saying an unkind word about anybody that wears pinstripes ever. They're sitting there saying Domingo Herman and Aroldis Chapman are great husbands. Like, that's what they're sitting there saying. You know, like,
they're just shows for the New York Yankees.
Oh, basically. Absolutely. You could see puppets. You could see hands up their backs working their mouths. Like, they both need to go. I'm sorry. You know, their day in the sun is over. You know, I still can't figure out how Waldman got that job. She must have been best friends with George Steinbrenner or something. I don't know. But I think everybody in the entire sporting world was making fun of her for that. Oh my God, the Rocket is in the owner's booth of all the dramatic things. Oh my God, I just wanted to, like.
I laugh at that every time because she says it's George's box, so it just sounds like. It just sounds
in what world would you say in a New York market? Yes, let's bring in the woman with the Boston accent.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
I don't know. In what world do you elect a Bostonian to be mayor of New York City? That should be a constitutional law. You can't do that.
I agree.
Yet here we are.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to it. I think that's it for MLB, but we're gonna go to MEA, and then we're gonna wrap things up here. So just a couple points of NBA. Honestly, I think we're all not like the biggest of NBA fans, but I feel like
there's something Corey for that.
Touch on. Yeah, you have to call Corey. Shout out Corey. Shout out
Corey Block.
So obviously Knicks and Nets. Knicks surprising season, number 4 seed right now. And I actually looked it up. In the last 10 games, the Knicks are 8-2, and the only other team in the NBA that's actually matches that, this is 8-2 in the last 10 games, is the best in the NBA. This isn't no calendar, it's just saying your last 10 games, is the Denver Nuggets. So there's only 2 teams in the NBA that were 8-2, and the New York Knicks were one of them over the last 10 games, which is pretty impressive. And Derrick Rose having like a resurgence.
Amazing.
Which is awesome because he came to the Knicks a couple of years ago, and it was like we wanted him out of town. Couldn't get him out any faster. Right. Needed him out of here. Now we're like, could you stay longer? Because I know it's just a little rental, but do you want to stay a little bit longer here?
Yeah, he might want to stay longer. I mean, look, they've got chemistry right now. It's the Knicks. The Knicks are like the Jets in a sense that no matter how bad they are, they're still a team that you want to talk about. And as a professional athlete, being talked about keeps you relevant. And really that's the most important thing, staying relevant. I mean, you don't even have to be good. They just got to talk about you. You're going to get paid from somebody just for somebody to talk about you.
I mean, we also do like a sports radio. What team are they always talking about in New York City besides the Knicks? And you have the New York Nets. Oh, I said New York Nets. Sorry, New Jersey Nets, now Brooklyn Nets, who have 3 of the biggest, like 3 top 10 like NBA players. And the stories about New York Knicks, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, instead of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. James Harden, first of all, hasn't been played in a long time, but because his injury, and then Kyrie Irving just doesn't even talk to the media, so they probably already hate him as it is. And then Kevin Durant's just busy tweeting everybody. So,
well, you know, and then I think some of that momentum went away last year because Durant couldn't play because he had the injury, which may have benefited them because of the shortened season, because of coronavirus and all the things that went on with that. I think. Again, I mean, Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball and even hockey to a certain extent, you know, just because, you know, the Rangers, you know, people might sit there. I know my Islanders fans go, oh, the Rangers are the joke of the original six. You know, they're the worst team of them. You know, blah 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 blah. Whatever. They're still the Rangers. It's still probably the most valuable team in the NHL. I'm pretty sure they're still the most valuable team in the NHL. They're actually like 6 times more valuable than the Islanders. You know, so for all the playoffs that the Islanders are going to, they aren't worth peanuts compared to the Rangers, who don't make the playoffs, and they're still worth more money. So
have won a championship in over what, almost
25 years, 27 years,
27 years now. So that.
But the point being is that it's the same thing with the Knicks and the Nets. You know, the Knicks, Spike Lee ain't going to Nets games. I don't know who is. I don't know who is. Who's going to Nets games? Justin, I'm sorry,
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. I was gonna say Zach Wilson. I don't. Did you saw? I think we spoke about that. But do you guys see that at all? Zach Wilson Instagrammed or tweeted a picture of the Nets game playing the Bucks, and they got their asses kicked by Giannis and the Bucks, and he was like, I guess I could be a Nets fan now. It was like the little caption that he put on top. So Brooklyn Nets, congratulations. The Jets quarterback is a fan of your team now. I don't know what that does for you, but
he's also from Utah, so he doesn't really know how things
they got the Jazz. They got the Jazz. Karl Malone.
Jazz are actually good. He should just be a Jazz fan. It's just, I always think it's incredible too. The Knicks are a 4 seed, and the Nets are, you know, fighting for the top spot in the East, and the story is still New York Knicks. Their back pages.
You know what though? It's the same thing with the Jets and the Giants right now, though, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Today I saw a thing on Pro Football Focus. The Jets were the most improved wide receiver core in the NFL, and a whole bunch of people were like, "This team's got better wide receivers. That team. What about the Chiefs? And what about these guys?" And I'm like, "You guys aren't understanding what improved means. If you go from 0 to 40, that's a better improve than 80 to 90. Yeah. You're still not better." It's the same thing with the Knicks and the Nets. Like the Knicks went from 0 to 60. The Nets went from 70 to 80 or 70 to 100 even. But I'm still going to talk about that 0 to 60. That's impressive. Holy shit. You went up 60 points? Okay. Somebody showed up to class.
Listen, you have every top player in the NBA for the past, 50, 60, 70 years saying out loud, I love playing at MSG. I love playing at the Garden. I love being there. I mean, never heard anybody say anything good about the Barclays Center. Not once. I mean, even the Islander fans were like, this place sucks.
And they're from Long Island.
This does suck.
Right. They left the Coliseum, which was essentially, I don't know, your local pickup ice hockey rink. There was holes in the wall. You'd go and park your car, and they would just get swallowed up by the parking lot. Wouldn't be there anymore. And they go to this they go to a brand new arena, and they're like, man, this place sucks. I want our shithole back.
Well, I've gone to a few games there, and they're bad. Like they had the like what was the big Trump, like Jumbotron was always off centered.
Yeah.
I hated watching games there.
But
you're saying, Nick?
Yeah, you gotta look at it like you also gotta look at the neighborhood. The Nets are new. They're not. Yeah. I mean, I understand the Nets were from Brooklyn, and then they went to Jersey, then they had the great run with Kidd and Martin and those guys had a great run with them. And now they're back in Brooklyn. And who lives in that neighborhood? Are any of them actually Brooklynites that live there anymore? I mean, Bed-Stuy is right there, right down the road. But for the most part, that's all hipster town. People from the Midwest that aren't from New York that don't like sports in the first place. So how are you supposed to build? And then on top of that, you got to take into consideration that everybody that lived in Brooklyn up to that point was a Knicks fan. I'm from Brooklyn. Guess what? I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I'm not changing my mind all of a sudden because the Nets are around. So maybe in 20 years, the Nets will be the team, but they aren't now. And it's going to take time for it to be the team.
Yeah, and then I guess moving on from there, besides the Knicks Nets talk, is LeBron James' comments on the play-in game.
It's amazing.
Which is, he is so hypocritical, not hypocritical, but just speaks out of the side of his mouth all the time. Two sides of his mouth between last year when he said, I love the playing game. I think this is a tremendous idea, to him saying this year, I hate the playing game because I have to actually play in it possibly. I mean, it's just typical LeBron James when it comes to the play. Like, it's just, he always does this. It's just what LeBron does. He complains about everything.
The fact that he's a clown. He really is a clown. He's the best player in the league. We get it. Okay, sorry, he's not even close to Jordan. Kiss my ass. You'll never be. I'll take Kobe over LeBron any day of the week.
Listen,
rest in peace, Kobe.
LeBron's not wearing LeBron's number. LeBron's wearing Jordan's number.
Right.
And even LeBron knows that.
I mean, and at a certain point, I think he's starting to, his mouth is overshadowing his talent, and he's backing himself into corners where people can just pick him apart.
Yeah.
And I think it's just hilarious that he backed himself into that corner.
His mouth is overshadowing his hairline. And
like always,
it's also overshadowing this terrible Space Jam movie that's about to come out.
You're never gonna get better than Bill Murray and Michael Jordan, okay, and Newman from Seinfeld.
Newman. I just want to point out, I quoted Space Jam to your cousin the other day, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I did. TJ's not white. TJ's clear.
Dude, like, why do you remake the classics? That's like turning around and saying, oh yeah, we're gonna remake Back to the Future. Why? Does a half-animated movie not stand the test of time with the greatest basketball player of all time in it?
Do you think he's gonna join the Monstars midway through because he's losing?
I don't think the Monstars are in it.
I know.
I think about halfway through the movie, he's going to sit everybody down and get ESPN to come out and make a decision on where he's going to play.
Should I play with the Looney Tunes or should I play with these guys over here?
He's going to trade his son. I was like, who's supposed to play with his son or whatever? He's like, I'm going to trade him for the evil Damian Lillard that's supposed to be in the movie. He's got a better three than my child. LeBron.
But no, I mean, I think we put a lot of onus on hypocrisy amongst athletes. You know, you get a lot of guys that bitch about cheating, and then they'll get caught cheating. You know, and in LeBron's case, he's fallen into that, not cheating, but the play-in game is great when it's in your favor, or when it doesn't affect you. But as soon as you're afraid that you might be at risk, this is terrible. This is the worst thing ever, Like me, I'm a staunch against the baseball wild card. Like, that's not the playoffs as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I hate that.
I agree.
Only because it's not a 3-game set. Baseball is not a one and done type deal like football. Right. Baseball is a series. You could just have a bad day. That doesn't mean you're a bad team, or that the other team was even better than you. You just had a bad day. Right. That's all.
I agree.
How many teams come down from 3-0 and win the World Series? It happens. It happens.
Right.
I mean, we're victims of that, right? The Red Sox kicked our asses, all right, and they were down 3-0 and they beat us in the ALCS and went on to win the World Series. So this one and done shit, I don't like it. But you know what? Those are the rules.
I hate that for baseball.
And too. I'm not gonna bitch about it, when it goes against me, and I'm not gonna sit there and praise it when it goes for me. But LeBron James, he wants to take that level, that's fine. There ain't no football players or baseball players wearing his shoes in their games. All praise Jordan, greatest of all time.
I'm gonna read the actual quote here because I was trying to do it. My internet was messed up before, so now it's back. So LeBron in late March 2020, you got Portland, you got Memphis, New Orleans, and Sacramento tinkering around there. So if there's 5 or 10 games left, why not those guys battle it out? Make them play each other all 5 games. Then it says LeBron James wants to play in tournament for final NBA points. Then it's obviously this week. LeBron James did not mince words about the play-in tournament. Whoever came up with that shit needs to be fired. So it's like, dude, didn't you come up with it? Was that yours?
Jeez.
Watch. After he retires, he'll be the first one speaking out about super teams. Yeah, this is bullshit. It ruins the game.
Yeah, he's like,
good
Kyrie,
call.
When he loses to the Nets this year, he's gonna be like, well, Kyrie and Durant and Harden, they're a super team. I can't beat them.
No, he's got to get to the Nets first. And I don't think that's happening. So,
well, they've been battling injuries. So I mean, I don't know. The Nuggets or Jazz? I was getting confused because I think the jerseys look similar.
They don't. They don't.
Well,
They don't. They just don't. The Nuggets and the the Warriors, they have the same colors. I mean, I don't watch that much basketball. I'm almost positive the Jazz wear purple.
No, they don't anymore though. That's why.
Oh, really? Wow.
Right? Yeah, they don't wear the old Karl Malone purple. That's why.
That's why they suck.
Either one. Yeah, well, I hope someone knocks them out so they don't win. Actually, it'd be great if he was in the playing game. I think this year, actually, I would have been pissed with the playoff game too if it was the New York Knicks who were in like a 7 and 8 spot, and I'd be like, oh, they're finally good, and they have to do this stupid playing game. Like, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed too. But
I don't think anybody disagrees with LeBron's take, but you had a different take last year.
Yeah, and you're the one who came up with this shit, so you should be fired.
Yeah, right.
So last NBA point, which I just think is a ridiculous stat. I think Russell Westbrook is just a stat sheet filler. I mean, he averages triple double. I think this year again, he like is set. Like they said, he could actually get 0 in every category for the rest of the games, and he'll still average triple double this year, which is like insane. But I mean, that's just what he does. It's the assist. I think he had like 20 something assists and like 20 something rebounds and like 14 points the other day, which is, I think it's just an incredible stat. But that's just my take on.
Oh no, I mean that's absolutely true. What I think is even more crazy, and you know, it's unfortunate for him that, you know, he's playing for the Wizards now, right?
Yeah, he's watching.
Kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so much. I'm not saying the Wizards are irrelevant. To basketball, they're very relevant. They are. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about to the world, you know, it's like Mike Trout. To baseball, Mike Trout is very relevant. Yeah. If you don't watch baseball, you have no idea who Mike Trout is. And if you don't watch basketball, you may have heard the name Russell Westbrook, but you think he still plays for the Thunder.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
The Wizards didn't really come out the gates early on. I guess they took a while for them to gel together, and he was just putting up points. Bradley Beal was putting up points, and then it's like, but they were losing every game.
You know, though, so it doesn't make a difference. It's like Giannis. If you're not a basketball fan, you may know Giannis's name, but you wouldn't know his face if he passed you in the street. You would just be like, "Who's that tall guy?" You know, it's like hockey. How many hockey players? Like if you saw Carl Hagelin walking down the street, would you know who Carl Hagelin is?
Yes.
No, I think he was a male supermodel.
You know, how often is Sean Avery riding a bicycle through New York and nobody stops him?
Because I'm afraid to.
I would. Sean Avery's a hero.
I would love to see Sean Avery.
Sean Avery is a hero. Oh my God, I love Sean Avery so much. Sloppy seconds ain't my style either.
Oh, amazing. They gift wrapped him back to the Rangers with that one. It's like, oh, how can he say such a thing?
I just want to point out.
You're gone, and the Rangers are like, yep, come back.
I just want to point out, Sean Avery said, I don't know what's with these guys, you know, going after my sloppy seconds, and he got suspended for 6 games. Tom Wilson assaults 2 people, $5,000 fine.
Tom Wilson committed crimes.
You know, you got to figure though, like it makes sense because Canada, like if you punch somebody in the face, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I got in your way." But if you use like bad words at them, they're like, "Oh, there's fighting words, hoser." You know, like so it kind of makes sense that they would take words more seriously than threats and stuff like that and actual violence.
If you're gonna attack me verbally, you have to also use French.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Listen, at the end of the day, Sean Avery got a rule made after him because he ingeniously said, if I'm going to screen you, I'm going to look you in the eyes so I know you can't see. Genius. Nobody ever thought in 100 and something years of hockey to turn around and look at the goalie in the face.
Sean Avery was like, not touching, kicking, man. Not touching, kicking, man.
100%. Okay, he still lives rent-free in Marty Brodor's head. Okay, one of the greatest goalies, if not the greatest goalie of all time. And every once in a while, Marty Brodor wakes up and sweats at 3 a.m. and goes, fucking Sean Avery.
Yeah. Oh my God, Sean Avery.
God, I hate that guy.
Yeah. Those are the best. Those clips. Those like everything he just did to Brodor. It was just.
Brodor's like, it reminded me of that scene in The Replacements where Brodor's just like, the one girl slapped the other girl in the ass, Jimmy. Get them to stop shaking their ass for 2 seconds.
Oh,
He's looking at the ref like,
incredible.
what's this guy doing? You can't do that. Ref's like, I don't know why he can't do that. Why can't he do that? He just can't. It's not fair.
Oh, just amazing. Listen, when you're an instigator and you get under everybody's skin and the goalies, you win. You win. That's a role player right there.
Yeah.
I love Shawnee, and he can score.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Fantastic. That's the best part of that whole situation is after everything, I think Scotty Gomez dishes it to Avery and he scores on Brodor after getting in his face the whole time.
We should just end
Incredible.
every podcast with a Sean Avery story.
Oh, Sean Avery all day.
Shout out to Sean
Avery podcast.
If you're not pro Sean Avery,
shout out to Sean Avery. All right, boys. Well, I think this is a pretty good place to leave off. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am. This is a hell of a fun first go round, and I look forward to the next go. Yeah, well, we gotta get guests sometimes. Like I'm thinking. I don't know. Call up David Cohn, see what he's doing.
Yeah. Why we call Sean Avery?
Listen,
oh, come on.
I listen. Nothing bad could happen with getting a phone line in here and letting people call in and absolutely rip us or leave us messages that we suck. That would make my day. I know I suck.
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for us today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. From us here over at the Scoreboard Addicts podcast, I want to say thanks and follow us on Twitter and on YouTube. Anthony, what's that link?
At Scoreboard. Score Addicts Pod, and we're on Instagram as Scoreboard Addicts Pod. All right, so follow us there. We'll start putting up some content, while games going on, big moments, we'll comment on it. And then, post some pictures, stuff like that. Maybe a couple sports memes like
follow us, boys. Boys and girls,
shake.
comment, rip us, absolutely.
Bring the hate. Roast us.
A new one. Amazing.
Follow us, we'll follow back.
Definitely.
But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Good night. Later.
Stay rock.